So the consulting work I do now is working primarily with organizations or individuals who want to think about a way to um, innovatively like work with their community. So if an organization is like, oh, we've been doing this, but we haven't had much community engagement, I come in from like a design perspective. I really like to lean on like liberatory design. So shout out to Tanya with Baitna Design, who is like one of the co-creators of liberatory design. I like to lean on that work. And I come in and support the organization to take their work to another level. And so Baddies with Business came about it was a dream that I had been thinking about for a while. It hadn't formalized like outside of my head until like, I would say the pandemic. I had just been noticing things where I'm like, okay, what I'm noticing in this work, in this consulting work, but also, at 4.0 is there's a lot of Black women that are starting businesses, but we are not making it outside of like the first couple of months because things and life be lifing. So when the pandemic started, I just went remote and I was still at my like full-time 9 to 5. So I was thankful and blessed that I had a salary. I could just go home and work from home. There were a lot of people that I knew, Black women entrepreneurs, that their sole income was from their business. And when the pandemic hit, it hit their pockets. And so what I did is I said, I have this salary and, I'm just going to budget each week that I'm going to invest in 2 to 3 Black women-owned businesses. And I would like purchase items and then I would post it on my personal account. Sometimes I would post it. Sometimes I would post it to my stories, but I would always tell somebody about it. So that went on for like a month. And then people started to ask me, hey, Malliron, I'm looking for this type of candle. Do you know someone? And I was like, bet, give me 2 hours. Go through Instagram and I say, here's 3 people. Let me know what you think. I've used this one. I haven't used this one, but I've heard great reviews about this one. So then one night I like had a dream, woke up the next morning and I was like, you know what? I know that how I can bring together this like love of supporting early stage entrepreneurs that I have from like the consulting work and also supporting Black women. I can start a podcast. I ain't know nothing about starting podcasts. I just knew I listened to the read and I listened to a couple podcasts. So I knew what I didn't like in podcasts, but like I never started. So I said, before I jump out, I'm going to do the thing I coach people to do. I'm going to talk to my users. So I reached out to like 5 friends I had, Black women-owned business owners, and they all were in like that 0 to 2 focus area. So I'll get to the focus of 0 to 5. So they were in those years. And I said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast that's going to focus on Black women entrepreneurs sharing their story. What do you think? Oh my God, Malliron, this is great. I was like, are you just saying that because you're my friend? Oh, this is great, Malliron.
I know, that's always my first suspicion anytime I go to a friend on anything.
Yep. I said, do you like it? And then the next question was, would you be a guest and would you recommend it to other people? Because it's one thing to say like, oh, I think it's a great idea. It's another thing to say, I would actually like to be on this. And then it's a whole nother thing with like, oh, I'm going to share this with friends. And I have people that I would recommend. They said yes to both of them. I said, okay, you might be being nice. I went to another person. So I went through my 5. All 5 were yes. One of the baddies was like, when do we record? This is a Friday.
Nice.
I said, we're recording on Sunday. I didn't know how to do no recording. So I went to YouTube University and I was like, let me learn the stuff. Let me find, a good entry level mic. Let me figure out my setup and all of that. And we recorded the first episode on that Sunday. It is now the first episode with LaTonya Coakley of Adjourn Tea House. I have evolved since then, but it was still really dope. And it is the top streaming episode. Number 1, the roughest, like editing, but like it was the best episode because it was just me sitting down with a homegirl, just talking about her business. And what also was powerful is a couple months prior, I had coached her on how to tell her story around Adjourn Tea House. So she was in this like cushiony space of like, I quit this job. I want to fully invest in this, but I don't know how to tell the story. And so I just coached her on how to tell her story, not necessarily leaning on pitch, because people always like have your pitch. I say it's not about a pitch, it's about a story. And you're telling your story because you want people to invest in you. You want people to be like, I would be like it wouldn't even make sense if I didn't invest in this person because they are so dope and what they're doing is so incredible. And so that's how you are sharing your story, you're selling your story. And if people don't bite, that's not the right person for you because at some point they're going to come back and they're going to want to bite. You be like, the bite is bigger. Okay. And it costs more. So yeah. So, then after that first episode, I recorded 10 and they were like, when are you going to go live with your episodes? I was like, I don't know, June 1st. That seems like a good start. It's on the first day of a month. And yeah, I just hyped it up from there. I created an Instagram account and then it was on and popping. And so what I soon started to think about is like, okay, I'm focusing on Black women entrepreneurs, but I know that my passion is for early stage. Mm-hmm. And what I also knew is that Black women are outpacing any other race and ethnicity and gender when it comes to starting businesses, but we're not making it out of infancy stage, which is year 5. And so my focus is 0 to 5 with creating a space where they can share their stories, they can connect to other baddies, and they also get access to social capital. Because also you have a lot of baddies that are like, I'm starting this candle company, but I feel like I'm the only person. I'm talking to my cousin and they don't understand why I'm pricing these candles at $20, but they don't know I actually put in all this work. And so I need that to break even. So creating that space, but then the access to social capital is I am bringing in an accountant. I am bringing in a marketing professional into the community to support you, free of charge to you. But I am making that investment because I'm investing in you to make it to year 5, to make it to year 10. And if you don't, you decide, okay, maybe this isn't my passion anymore, but it's not because you feel forced out of the field and the world of entrepreneurship to do that. So that is the blending of the two where I started in this education innovation space, and I'm still in that space with the consulting work, but now it is solely focused on Black women entrepreneurs from all fields. It can be education, it can be artists, candle makers. I have one baddie in the community that breeds pythons.
What the heck?
So, all kinds of things. I got a beekeeper, all kinds of baddies. So yeah, that's the kind of evolution and how the two of those worlds connect.
I love it. And I think part of what you're also doing for them, whether you're acknowledging it or not, you're also, as you were saying, what you were actually doing with your coaching with one of these people is you're helping them tell their story through the podcast. So now someone like you were saying with that, the candle maker who has say a $20 candle or a $30 candle, now you've created assets for them to tell their story as a business owner. So now they have this capital, these assets out there on social media or directly on your podcast for people to go and understand better. And also to what you were saying, when it comes to investors, I think it's the same thing when it comes to, especially the younger clients that are out there. So Gen Z, millennials, they very much want to believe in the individuals who are leading the companies. They want to know the story behind the companies. And so it's not just about the product, it's about the people leading those products or leading those companies. And so you're helping these businesses do a multitude of things, but one of the big things is help them tell their own story. And I think that's really important. And again, I've been loving listening to these episodes. I think, like you said, there's such a breadth of different voices that are there. I loved, obviously some of the podcast ones because I work in media. And that's, I heard the Be Well Sis one with Cassandra, which brought it real full circle because, your episode is, if you're listening to this now, you're obviously listening to this episode, but the week prior was Anna Agogo of Black Pod Collective. So it's in that conversation with Cassandra, y'all brought up Black Pod Collective. I'm now talking to you. It was just this great full circle moment and really brought back to hey, I'm doing this show on entrepreneurship. You're very much doing a show on entrepreneurship. We didn't know each other 2 years ago, and look at how our circles have brought us together. And just, again, I think the beauty of what you're doing there is really important. So make sure after you check out this show, make sure you're checking out that deep back catalog of Baddies with Business, because there's so many great conversations that you have there.
Yeah.
And I know it's probably hard to ever pick out favorite episodes and stuff like that, but is there from this past season any particular advice that stands out to you? Because a lot of what you do there is getting advice from these entrepreneurs of how they were able to succeed in their areas. And so is there anything in particular that really resonated with you with your journey?
Yeah. So Ashley Day with Graffiti Panda, she's out of North Carolina. And Graffiti Panda is all about self-expression. So she does that through earrings and accessories. But she is really dope. And one thing that she shared is the reason that she started Graffiti Panda is because she felt like the world needed a her. She wanted to express herself. She didn't see Black women of her complexion that were out in the world, that were doing fashion, that loved fashion, that were like unapologetic. And she wanted to do that. And she wanted, people to feel like they can accessorize, they can wear the earrings that may not be like the standard earrings that people wear. They have these different sayings and all these different effects to them. But she just wanted to put that out there. She was like, be yourself. Like, don't feel like you have to come out here and be somebody else or be the person that, people want you to be on social media. Just be yourself. And so I think that was powerful because she continues to live into that with every post that she has, with every shout out, with every blog post. Like, she continues to be herself. And it's like every time she rolls up to an event, like you can tell when Graffiti Panda comes in because there is this color, there's this pop, there's always like this little piece of sunshine that you didn't even know you needed when you just walk past her space. So that was like one of the really powerful learnings as a reminder to just be yourself, like, and whatever way that is, like, be yourself. I shout out Beyonce because she said, be unique, unique. Okay. But yeah, just be yourself and never forgetting that the world needs a you.